Good morning, everyone. The Excel problem I want to present today is going to be called the International Transportation Problem. Or if you Google it, you can just Google transportation problem and there are lots of information on this topic. I like to call it International Transportation Problem for fashion companies because this type of problem actually gives us some very good intuition about how do we distribute products if we have production facility in multiple countries that have to serve multiple markets. So the example we have today, I'm just going to make it relatively simple. We have production facilities in China, US, and Spain. Now you can have more. You can have more than 3. You can have up to 10, 20, 100 as long as Excel can handle it. And you have market 1, market 2, and market 3. So we produce in China. We're going to produce in China for 5,000 units. We also produce in US, and we plan to produce 2,000 units here. And we will also produce 3,000 units in Spain. So that's what we have the production capacity here on the Excel spreadsheet. Now, the market we have, in market 1, the demand is 4,000 units. Market 2, the demand is 5,000 units. Market 3, the demand is 1,000 units. You can have more than 3 markets for sure. For example, you can have market in US, in China, in maybe Canada, in South America, and so on. So you could have more than 3 production facilities and also 3 markets. I'm just using 3 by 3 and to introduce a problem. So as we can see, if we check, well, we total can produce 10,000 units. The market demand total is also 10,000 units. So this is the case, your production capacity is actually equal to the market demand. So we don't have to worry about maybe we're producing too much or maybe we're producing too little. I want to keep the problem simple. So I like to set the capacity equal to the demand. Later on, if you're interested, then we can introduce, for example, what if you cannot meet the demand, or what if you produce too much, what should you do? But for this problem, as a beginner, I like to keep it as simple as possible. So we have to make a decision. Now the decision we have to make is among the 5,000 units we produce in China, how many should be sent to market 1, market 2, and market 3. Same, among the 2,000 units we're going to produce in US, how many should be sent to market 1, market 2, and market 3. Same for here, among the 3,000 units we're going to produce in Spain, how many should be sent to each market? Well, the constraints are, well, of course, what we're going to send out should be equal to what we can produce. And what each market is going to receive should be equal to the demand. So in the pink cells, that's where I'm going to enter my formula. So my first formula is I want whatever I produce and send to each market from China. The total should be the 5,000 units I'm going to produce there. So I want to sum it up. I want to sum from China to each market. Well, so far we're not sending anything yet. So far we have 0 units being sent out. But eventually at the end, I want what comes from China to each market to add up to be 5,000 units. Now once I enter this formula, I can paste it down. So now everything coming from US should be also equal to the 2,000 units US can produce. And everything come from Spain should equal to 3,000 units. Same for each market. I want each market may receive something from China, US, and Spain, may or may not, depend on which way is most economical. So I want, no matter how the final decision come out, I want the amount they receive, China, US, Spain, the overall they're going to send to market 1 should be able to meet the demand of market 1. And the same thing we're going to do for market 2. Now the amount they're going to receive from China, US, and Spain added up should equal to 5,000 units, and same for market 3. So here I'm going to paste the formula also from market 1 to market 2 and market 3. Well, there are many ways we can send. For example, you can send 1,000 units from China to market 1, 2,000 from China to market 2, 2,000 from China to market 3, and that should be equal to 5,000 total production. But that may not help, because in this case you're sending too much from China to market 3, because market 3 only need 1,000 units. So we don't want to worry too much here. So far, let's leave it blank. We want Excel to find the solution for us. Now, the goal for us as a company is, of course, to make money. Now, we want to minimize the cost as much as possible. So in this case, the objective we have is going to be minimize the total cost. Now, how do we calculate the total cost? That's where the second table is going to help us. In the second table, on the setup, we're going to see some numbers. So we see 4, 8, 7, 6, 2, 5, and so on. Now, those represent the cost per unit of the shipping. So from China to market 1, it will cost us $4. From China to market 2, it will cost us $8, and so on. So our goal is to minimize the transportation cost. In other words, minimize the total shipping cost. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, it's going to be equal to, the total cost here is going to be equal to the $4 from China to market 1 times how many we're going to ship from China to market 1 plus the $8, that's the cost from China to market 2, times how many we're going to ship from China to market 2, and so on. So we have to keep multiplying, keep adding. But as we said in class, the quickest way to do that is we actually can use the sum product formula. How are we going to do that? We're going to highlight all the yellow cells. That's the decision we have to make. How many units to ship from China to each market. And times the corresponding cost from each country to each market. So as you can see, we're multiplying two groups together. So the first group, that's the quantity we have to decide. The second group is the corresponding shipping cost per unit from each production facility to each market. Multiply them together, that gives us the total shipping cost. Okay, once we set it up, now we're actually done. So basically what you need to do is, no matter what kind of problem you have, what you need to do is you need to write down how many you can produce in each country, what are the demands, then you enter the formula in the pink cell, and above here, that's the summation of the rows, and down here, that's the summation of the columns. And for here, this is the total cost. Again, how do we find the total cost? The total cost is actually equal to the per unit shipping cost from that country to that market, multiplied by how many do we plan to ship. So because we have lots of numbers here, that's why I suggest us to use the sum product formula to multiply two tables together. Okay. All right, so once we enter all the numbers in the pink cell, then we can use solver to help us find the solution. If you have PC, go under data and you're going to see the solver button. And for the solver button, I already tried one time, so let me delete the information I had before. Okay, so the first thing we need to have when we open solver is we need to set objective. So as we can see, for this company, their decision is they try to find out how many they have to ship from China to each market, from US to each market, from Spain to each market, so they can minimize the total transportation cost. So our goal, the objective here is we want to minimize the transportation cost. So minimize the transportation cost, which I have in cell B18, by changing everything in the yellow. So the yellow ones the cells we can make decision about. So the yellow ones represent how many to ship from each country to each market. We don't know yet. We hope Excel can find out for us. The constraints they're actually quite straightforward. So if we click Add, now I'm going to show you how to find the constraint here. Now, the way to enter constraint, you can enter one by one, or you can enter as a group. And today I'm going to show you how to enter as a group of the constraint, because the setup of this type of problem is actually pretty consistent. So to enter it as a group can help us a lot of time. So basically, we want every country, the amount they send out should be equal to the amount they can produce. So my first group is whatever I'm sending out from each country. So from E5 to E7 should be equal to whatever I can produce. So as you can see, I enter the constraint as a group. Okay, and I hit enter or add. Then the second group of constraint is for each market, whatever they receive should be equal to the demand they have. So all the markets, the amount they're going to receive from all the country should equal to the demand of each market. And the last one is not so critical actually for this type of problem, but we just want to make sure we do not send like 4.3 units of the clothing item from China to market 1. That's not going to work, especially if you're producing dresses. You cannot send in fractions. So I want everything in the yellow cells to be integer, or the whole number. Okay, so everything in the decision variable range should be integer. So click OK. Then from here, make sure this one's checked. Everything should be not negative because we cannot produce or send negative amount. And among the solving method, choose simplex and click options. And from here, make sure this one, ignore integer constraint. This one has to be unchecked. So make sure there's no check mark inside this box. Click OK and then click solve. And the solver say, well, you find the solution. Do you want to keep my solution, or do you want to restore to the original value, which at the beginning we don't know how many, so everything was 0. And of course we want to keep it. And we can see from what the solver find, among the 5,000 units we produce in China, 4,000 should go to market 1, 1,000 should go to market 2. Among the 2,000 units we're going to produce in US, they should all go to market 2. Why? Because that's the lowest shipping cost. We want to take advantage of that. And among the 3,000 units we're going to produce in Spain, 2,000 has to go to market 2 to meet the demand there, and 1,000 will go to market 3 to meet the demand there. And the total, the shipping cost will be $43,000. So I'm going to post my Excel spreadsheet online as well as this video clip. And feel free to email me or call me if you feel confused. And we will also briefly go over this problem again in class next week. Otherwise, please do not forget to finish your homework for this week. And I'm going to see you on Monday next week. Thank you so much.